Fulgencio Batista was a Cuban military officer, politician, and dictator whose leadership defined much of Cuba's 20th century political history, serving as president from 1940 to 1944 and returning to power through a coup in 1952. Batista ruled until the Cuban Revolution in 1959, when he was overthrown by Fidel Castro. Behind his official policies were hidden networks of foreign influence, corruption, and secret deals that shaped Cuba's fate. One humble beginnings and military rise, born in 1901 in Baines, Cuba, to a poor sugarcane worker family. Joined the military in 1921, rising through the ranks due to intelligence and leadership. In 1933, he led the Sergeants' Revolt, effectively taking control of the military and becoming Cuba's kingmaker. First presidency, 1940 to 1944. Batista won democratic elections in 1940, becoming Cuba's first mix race president. His government enacted progressive reforms, a new constitution. 1940, with labor rights and social guarantees, legalized the Communist Party and aligned with the U.S. in World War II. However, behind the reforms, Batista used secret police to suppress opposition, built networks of loyalty through patronage, bribery, and control of labor unions. Exile and return by coup, 1952. After his first term, Batista left politics, but returned in 1952 to run again. Realizing he might lose the election, he staged a military coup, canceling elections and suspending the Constitution. He became a dictator, backed by military force, supported by the U.S., due to his anti-communist stance. BATISTA'S, Cuba, a land of shadows, a ties to organized crime. Havana in the 1950s became a hotspot for American tourists, gambling, and nightlife. Batista allegedly made secret deals with U.S. mafia bosses like Meyer-Lansky casinos, and hotels were operated by mobsters with Batista's protection. In return, he received large cuts and kickbacks, millions in personal gain. Repression and torture. Batista's regime used the BRAC secret police to arrest, torture, and kill political opponents. Universities were raided, censorship increased, and public dissent was crushed. Thousands were killed or disappeared during his final years in power, wealth, and corruption. While ordinary Cubans faced poverty, Batista and his inner circle amassed massive wealth, government contracts were rigged, and national resources were funneled into private hands. The growing revolution. By the mid-1950s, resistance grew. Batista underestimated Fidel Castro, who began a guerrilla campaign from the Sierra Maestra Mountains. Despite U.S. military aid, Batista's forces failed to suppress the uprising. His brutal repression only fueled more popular support for the revolutionaries. The fall and escape. On January 1, 1959, Batista fled Cuba with over $300 million in cash, gold, and art. He escaped to the Dominican Republic, later living in Spain and Portugal. He was never extradited, despite being accused of crimes against humanity. Exile and death. In exile, Batista wrote books defending his rule and blaming Castro for Cuba's decline. He died in 1973 in Spain, largely isolated from world politics. His wealth remained hidden across secret accounts and real estate in Europe. Legacy. Publicly, Batista was once seen as a reformer, nationalist, and anti-communist ally. Secretly, his regimes, corruption, mafia alliances, and brutal tactics fueled the very revolution he tried to stop. Today, Batista is remembered as a symbol of authoritarian excess and betrayal of democracy. Conclusion. The secrets behind Batista's. Cuba reveal a country torn between prosperity and repression, glamour and brutality. His hidden deals and authoritarian control helped transform Cuba into a playground for foreign interests and laid the groundwork for a revolution that would change global politics forever.